Hi. Thank you for attending today's reading. Let's begin. Childhood story. So, when I was 7 to 8 years old, I got lost in a public place. I couldn't find my parents, so I started crying. After crying for a while, I decided to seek some help. So I saw a woman with her daughter and decided to ask for help. I told her the whole thing. She looked at her daughter and said, "Look, this happens when you leave parents' hand in public," and went away. She didn't even help me. Luckily, I found my family looking for me. End of story. Next story. I witnessed a suicide attempt. We were having breakfast with my sisters together on a Sunday. My mom and dad weren't with us because my dad and my big sister had gotten into a fight about 2 months ago, which resulted with my father saying, "You will never get out of this fucking house again," to my sister. And she never did. She did go to school, but she wasn't allowed to go out when she came home from school. Things carried out like that for quite a while. She would come home, go to her room, and never get out of her room until the morning. Sometimes I wouldn't see her for a week. I would see her only on the weekends when we had breakfast. I was never informed about why my father and my sister had that big fight. But I have some predictions. I think she had a boyfriend. I remember my mom warning my sister about a boy that she was spending too much time with. And if she kept spending her time with him and my father found it out, she would be fucked. Anyway, let's go back to that Sunday. We were having breakfast together. I was asking her questions about school, her friends and stuff like that, but she wasn't answering any of them. She was just looking at the window. I gave up trying to get an answer from her after a couple of failed attempts. I started chatting with my little sister. She finished eating her meal and went to her room. After the breakfast, I went to her room. I don't remember why though. I might have needed help with a math problem or something. I got into her room and found her sitting next to the window. She got up and held the two sides of window with her hands like she was going to jump, but she hesitated. She stood there for a bit, looking at the floor. And then I said, "You aren't going to jump, are you?" with a little smile on my face. I don't know why I smiled. I guess I thought that she wouldn't do it. She smiled too. Just after that, we heard unlocking of the toilet door and my father came out. As soon as she heard the door open, she jumped. And I just watched it. I stood there like a fucking robot, feeling nothing. You know that cliché about traumatic events that they always say on movies? It felt like time had slowed down for a bit. That's right. It does feel like that. It exactly feels like that. After she hit the floor, I realized that I should notify someone older than me. That's when I shouted at my mom. Her name just jumped out of the window. She ran to the room and looked at my sister, who was lying on the ground, bleeding. She told my dad to call the ambulance. Told me to call my aunts to come and pick me and my sister ASAP. Grabbed the first hijab that she found and went to the backyard where my sister was. I grabbed my mom's phone, dialed my aunt's number and told her that something terrible happened, that she should come here ASAP. After 20 minutes, the ambulance arrived. Me and my sister were at home alone for about 15 minutes until my aunt came. When my aunt came and asked me about what happened, I told that my sister fell from the window. I didn't know why I lied. I guess I felt like that was something that the others shouldn't know. My sister was injured badly after the suicide attempt. She broke her spine from 5 places and she had bruises all over her body. She had a surgery about 2 days after the incident. She weren't able to walk for 4 months and she couldn't eat properly for a long time. After a year, she fully recovered. She started walking. She was eating healthy and going to school. Everything was pretty much back to normal. This incident softened my father a lot. His relationship with my sister had become so much better. He never gets angry anymore. He's always so supportive of us. It's like he has become another person. Honestly, I'm loving it. I didn't think this incident affected me that much until last March. I was meeting with a friend and I saw a man standing at his balcony. He was leaning to the front and I thought he was going to jump. The thought of someone else hurting themselves in the same way. The thought of witnessing it and going through all that again scared the shit out of me. I started breathing heavily. I was sweating cold and it felt like my heart was trying to get out of my chest. After I could control my breath, I asked my friend, "What is that man doing up there?" Quote. She said, "He's smoking cigarettes. And right now he's looking at you. Because you are acting weirdly. Are you all right?" Quote. I wish I could go to therapy but I don't have enough money. But I am saving money for it. I hope I can get some professional help soon. I feel that is going to help me. End of story. Next story. I am finally able to show my shoulders. I have been self-harming on and off for years. And now they've mostly gone. I am showing my arms and shoulders for the first time. I'm sorry, I'm just so proud of myself that I've survived to come this far and fought this hard. I had to share this personal achievement. One day I'll share the full story, but I'm still processing it all and trying to get my head around what's happened in order for me to get to this point. I've been struggling with mental health ever since I was self-aware, which was surprisingly young. I'm finally on the path to recovery. Edit. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. You're all amazing people. Single quote. End of story. Next story. How I went through an entire day of school without remembering it. One night I had a horrible case of insomnia. I was too tired to do anything and I couldn't go to sleep. I took a shot of Z-Quil at 10 p.m. and then another at 2 a.m. Of course, when I got to school, that's when it started to hit me. I was so tired that walking took a lot of energy. I met two of my friends outside of school and told them how tired I was. My friend Tyler said, "Dude, have my Monster. It'll wake you up." I never really had an energy drink up to this point. He gave me one of those big Monsters with the screw-on cap. I slammed it. I went from thanking him to being home. 8.5 hours later. 1 minute it was 7:30 a.m. Next minute it was 4 p.m. I didn't remember a thing. I asked a few people how I was the next day and they told me I was in autopilot. Giving very short, dead-end responses and ignoring people. I wouldn't try it again because I think I can safely assume that that is not healthy. End of story. That is all for today. If you want to support my automated channel, feel free to drop a like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.